Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to another episode of A Piece of New York. Today, we're in Harlem, and we're coming to a New York City institution, Sylvia's Restaurant. Known as the world's kitchen, Sylvia's Restaurant opened its doors in 1962 by Sylvia Woods. Now, Sylvia was actually born on a cotton farm in South Carolina. And growing up, she had two dreams. One, to marry her childhood sweetheart, Herbert, and then two, to trade the cotton fields of South Carolina to the bright lights of New York City. Well, in 1944, Herbert married Sylvia, completing dream number one. Next up was the Big Apple. So when Sylvia moved to New York City, she worked at a place called Johnson's Luncheonette for a number of years. Mr. Johnson saw the entrepreneurial spirit that Sylvia did have, so in 1962, he actually sold Johnson's Luncheonette to Sylvia, and she opened and changed the name to Sylvia's Restaurant. Sylvia's Restaurant has been run by the Woods family ever since it's opened its doors. Enjoyed by celebrities, presidents, and New Yorkers alike. Let's go inside, check it out, see what they're all about. First impression, you walk into Sylvia's and you can tell you're just walking into a place of New York City history. It's awesome in here. Now, when Sylvia originally opened up her restaurant that she purchased from Mr. Johnson, it was just a small 6-booth, 15-stool restaurant that she opened. During the riots in the 1960s, when there was a lot of tension racially within the country, this entire block had pretty much burnt down to the ground, except for Sylvia's. Now, over time, Sylvia's place thrived so much that she purchased multiple businesses next to her, building this massive and expansive restaurant right here in this location. When you walk in here, you can see pictures of all the famous people that have come in here. They have awesome pictures of the wall dedicated to the history of this place. It's really a fine place when you do walk into, and every time I come into Sylvia's, my first time was being in 2015, it just seems like something special is happening.
For our food today, we got a pork chop, we got that grilled, and then for our two sides, we had some mashed potatoes with some candied yams. Can't forget about that cornbread. And then we had a classic combination with some smothered fried chicken. And that comes with the pork spare ribs, grits and cheese, and then the baked mac and cheese. When you come to Sylvia's, they give you complimentary cornbread, which we're going to try first. Just hot right out of the kitchen. Going to put some of their delicious butter on it. Here we go. That cornbread is sweet, delicious, has a nice sweet and glazed top to it. Very soft on the inside, crispy crust on the outside. The salted butter adds a nice saltiness in contrast to the sweetness of the cornbread. First impression of the very first thing we ate, 2 thumbs up, very good. Next, moving over to one of my favorite things, what I get every single time I come here, the smothered fried chicken. Difference between this and the regular fried chicken is the smothered fried chicken is going to be lightly fried and then smothered in the delicious gravy. I got the dark meat, so I'm going to be trying the drumstick. Had a ton of flavor, nice saltiness to it from the lightly fried breadness of the fried chicken. The gravy was also rich, so you have this combination of richness with the hot meat and then the fried chicken. Fantastic. So you have this combination of rich gravy going with the delicious salty fried chicken, and the meat was very tender, fall off the bone, even for fried chicken. Fantastic. Next, moving on to the pork spare ribs, which is also part of that main combination right here. That nice sweetness. Here we go. Cheers. The barbecue sauce is nice and sweet. You have tender on the outside. It's a little bit tough on the outer crust. Could probably be cooked a tad bit longer. That way it really just has that meat falling off the bone. But there's a lot of flavor in that. The tenderness once you get past that outer crust is very good. I enjoyed it. If I'm choosing between these two, I definitely like the fried chicken, which I always get a little bit more. But this is also a fantastic meal if you're looking for some good fried pork spare ribs. And then going with that, I have the mac and cheese, and then I have the cheese and grits. First up, that cheese and grits. Big fan of cheese over here. Cheers. The gooiness of that cheese was absolutely delightful. Loved it so much. The grits, sometimes grits can have a little more of a plain flavor, a little bit hint of a sweetness. It's almost like grits are like liquid cornbread, if you will, is how they can be described as. But with the gooiness of the cheese, that was actually very good. I'm really glad that I got that as my side and added cheese. When you come to Sylvia's, you have the option of with cheese or without cheese. I'm going with that cheese every single time. And then, of course, I have my baked mac and cheese sitting right here as well. Here we go. Cheers. The noodles were nice, soft, chewy. Some of outer the outer cheese that was baked also added a crispy texture to it. The cheese on this one wasn't as gooey as the cheese within the grits. This one was a little bit more baked on, so there wasn't like the gooiness, but you still had that cheese flavor that really brought out the deliciousness that you can expect when you do get good mac and cheese. Quality cheese that they are cooking with here in the back, so I definitely loved it. So aside from a restaurant, Sylvia also sells a number of different products to bring home to your kitchen. One of those being this hot sauce. Let me try some of this right here. First, I'm going to try that pork chop without. It smells nice. Adds a delicious, savory flavor to it. There's a nice crispness to the texture as well. Really like that a lot. Sometimes with pork chops, they can be a little bit on the dry side. This had a little bit of juiciness to it, but you can expect when you do have pork chops that it's going to be a little bit drier than the other two dishes that we just had. Now I want to try it though with that hot sauce. Cheers. Sylvia's hot sauce adds just the right amount of kick to the flavor of the meat that you are pouring it on. It reminds me of almost of a Cajun spice where you do it's going to have that immediate kick to it and just really clear the sinuses, if you will. I enjoy the flavor of the pork chop much more with Sylvia's hot sauce on it. Now I'm going to have some of the mashed potatoes. A rich, smooth mashed potato. That's good, delightful. Enjoyed it. Could taste a little bit of the garlic, which adds a kick to it, but not too much. Overall, this was just a nice creamy mashed potato to go with the delicious pork chop. Now we got that candied yam. Here we go. Director did it again. She chose the best side. I had the cheese and grits and the baked mac and cheese, both of which I love. This definitely satisfies that sweet tooth in the morning. It had a almost sweet candiness to it. Like this, the overall sweetness was delicious. It's making my mouth water just talking about it. Those candied yams, they just absolutely melted in my mouth. It was sweet, satisfied the sweet tooth. It was awesome. I loved it. It was the best side that I did try personally because I do have a sweet tooth. But I think the move to do, which I'm going to do right now, is I'm going to take some of the mashed potato. I'm going to dip it in the candied yam. Here we go. That's the combination that you need to get because you have the rich creaminess and also that hint of kick with the garlic in the garlic mashed potatoes. And then you also have the sweetness of the candy yams coming all together in one. It's like an explosion of flavor in your mouth. That really is fantastic. And speaking of fantastic, this meal that we had here today definitely hit the mark, hit the spot.
Well, folks, that concludes our day up here in Harlem. And I have to say, Sylvia's knocked it out of the park. I absolutely loved it. Those candy yams were my favorite side. When I do come back here again, I'm going to be getting the candy yams. And of course, I'm going to be getting that smothered fried chicken, as that's my favorite here. I feel like it's a staple. But you can't go wrong with the pork chops or with the pork spare ribs. And from everyone over here at A Piece of New York, we just want to say thank you for the views. If you like this video, give us a thumbs up. If you enjoyed the content, give us a subscribe. Hope you have a great day and a better week. Take it easy, y'all. Bye-bye.